And think before you answer, Mr. Marshall. I know this thing took place. And think before you answer, Mr. Marshall. I know this thing took place.
There's a guy called Tumelo Madlala. Tumelo Madlala, he's the first South African witness in court who went to court and told the court and confessed to the court without confessing to the court. You know what I'm saying? So in other words, Tumelo, he's the first witness in the South African history who went into that box and played the game of being intelligence whilst he's busy exposing himself. If you don't understand what I'm saying, wait until I explain this. Tumelo has just finished the case. The case is done and dusted. Tumelo has just confessed that there was no intruder. And a lot of people did not pay attention how Tumelo said it, how he phrased it, how he said it in front of everybody. Tumelo has just told us that no, whatever you need to know, or if you need to investigate people, you need to investigate the people that were in the house. He said it, and a lot of people did not pick it up. That is why today I decided that I'm going to do a special video telling you that the case is done. From what Tumelo has said, he has said it all. Every question that you had has been answered by Tumelo, and the confession is right there. But I'm gonna take you into confidence, and I'm gonna break it down for you, and I'm gonna show you something. But before I do that, I want you, look, are you guys interested to get into this journey with me? If you are, then please stick around. As you stick around, there's only one favor that I'm requesting from you guys, and that favor is that you subscribe, you like the video, and you do comment in the comment section below. Why do you need to do all of these nice things, good people? You need to do all of these nice things because doing it does help out a lot when it comes to the YouTube algorithm to promote and spread this video to as many people as possible. So definitely, good people, the power here is in your hands. Please exercise that power in favor of this video. Remember, guys, we are on our journey to 20,000 subscribers, and I can tell you this, we are halfway to our target. And I'm gonna tell you this, we will get to 20,000 subscribers before the end of August. I'm gonna tell you this. Remember to like the video. It tells the YouTube algorithm to promote this video to as many people as possible. Remember to watch this video till the end. It also helps in terms of YouTube to promote this video. Remember to comment. Having done all the housekeeping, here is what we are about to do. Please take your chair, sit down, relax, and take your popcorns because we're about to break something. I'm about to show you the difference between being intelligent and being confident. Tumelo confused the two. He confused these two. I'm gonna give you two examples, right? And these examples is a practical example. Then what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna show you the confession by Tumelo, right? With your permission, allow me to start with example number one. I'm gonna use a prominent figure, right? Who is an exemplar of intelligence. Then I'm gonna use also a person that probably most of you will know in history, who is an exemplar of confidence without intelligence. I hope you get what I'm saying. Then we're gonna go back now to Tumelo, and I'm gonna show you that okay, this is where Tumelo confessed by saying 1, 2, 3. Tumelo confessed. Now let's start with this one. Now, the South African government, before Ramaphosa took over, they came with a thing called the state capture, right? In the state capture, the biggest culprit that also they wanted to arrest was the former President Jacob Zuma, right? So now they started with this thing called state capture. It went on and on and on, and then and then we arrived at a point where we needed Jacob Zuma to come and account. Now Jacob Zuma, before we get to Jacob Zuma, the legal team that was working with the Chief Justice Zondo, they had structured their questions in such a way that even if Zuma answers yes or no, he will incriminate himself. The legal team got Jacob Zuma understood that no, you know what, here, there's no way we can get out here. Whether we answer no or yes, we're still incriminating ourselves, right? Now, they then understood that, okay, if we're to answer the question asked about Zuma's accountability and all the stuff concerning the state capture, they understood that the implication here is very deadly, to a point that probably he will get 15 years in prison, right? So then they understood that, okay, here we've got that. Then they apply option 2. Option 2 was that they came to the state capture, answered few questions, and then walk away. That was done deliberately. They walk away where Jacob Zuma walked away, where everybody saw it. You understand what I'm saying? Now, the Chief Justice now had to defend his dignity, because if he allows this, then it means that every witness there will do that thing, and then the public will not respect him as at the time he was an assistant Chief Justice, right? So then he needed to respond. But what happened here is that Jacob Zuma was drawing him away from answering the state capture and creating a new case. You know what I'm saying? So he created a new scenario that will draw him from this attention at state capture to this one, right? But little did they understood that if you draw the attention of Chief Justice and you push him towards, there's this thing called contempt, right? Because Zuma was arrested for contempt, right? So he drew the Chief Justice from the state capture to a case of contempt. But Jacob Zuma has already calculated that if you arrest me for contempt of court, the sentence is just 15 months. But if you arrest me for state capture, the sentence is probably could be 20 years. But also look at this intelligence at work now. Also, if you arrest Zuma for contempt of court, automatically you cannot come back and ask him about state capture. That's how we cleared this whole thing. This also was picked up by a professor in the University of Pretoria and say, hey, Jacob Zuma has outsmarted every one of us. We all pushed the idea that he must be arrested for contempt of court, right? And all the stuff. Gandhi, we were falling into a trap. The trap was that he's moving our attention from the actual focus into something else. That is intelligence at work. So Jacob Zuma proved. And by the way, let's not talk about the fact that he went to prison for 2 hours and then came back. Okay, let's not talk about that. They say it's the shortest time in prison ever in the history of life. He was supposed to go back there. He went there at 7:06. He went out and he was a free man. But let's leave that. That is intelligence. Intelligence does not necessarily ask, or it's not necessarily determined by your academical achievement. There are people who have acquired a doctorate. There are people who are professors today, but they are not intelligent. So academical achievement is not necessarily a sign of intelligence, right? Now, that is intelligence defined. Now, let's go to history. There's a guy in the Bible called Peter. Peter was this guy who was ever confident before his conviction. He was forever confident but lacked intelligence. We saw that with Tumelo. You confusing the two. You're confusing between being confident and being intelligent. When advocate Mshololo says, think before you answer, she meant it. She had already seen that, Tumelo, you are not thinking before you answer, and you will regret this moment. And this is a moment that you will regret until death. You don't get what I'm saying? Let's get into this question. Advocate Mshololo asked this question. Advocate Mshololo had asked Tumelo the question of the Ngache family, and said that Haibo Pela, they were running, chasing after this intruder. Did you see people chasing after these intruders who had ran away from the house? Listen to the answer, Tumelo. The answer was, this is where you see the difference between confidence and intelligence. If you were intelligent, intelligence would have shown you that this question is getting me into a lot of trouble. Let me avoid answering this question at all costs. But confidence tells you that I'm in control even when you're out of control. Then Tumelo answered the question and say, who can chase after a person who has a gun whilst you're not even carrying a weapon in your hand? Did you listen to that one? Let's rewind. Let me show you something here. There's something in this one. He says that who can chase after an armed person when you are not armed? Little did he knew that is leading to that he has put himself in a very, very compromised position, a position that is going to be difficult to get out of, and that is where the confession was made. Right there. Let me give you something. We were told that the public figures and the Khumalo told a story of, and the Ngache told us that they were told that the intruders went into the park, so they ran after the intruders. Remember, the intruders are the people that had shot Senzo, with inverted commas. So technically the intruders had a gun in their hand and a knife right there. So they had shot Senzo Meyiwa. People who have proven that they are killers, you having no weapon in your hand, you are chasing after them. And Tumelo says there's no logic that these people chase after armed people. Gandhi Tumelo was leading himself into this forceful confession. Whether he said it or not, he has already said something. Because Mshololo asked this question. The first question that Mshololo asked was that, Tumelo, if you say so, please tell me this. How did Longwe pushed a person who had a firearm and ran away? Two people with firearm, according to Longwe. There were two people with firearm. That question remains unanswered. How did Longwe manage to push two people who were armed, never surrendered? Remember the previous answer from Tumelo said, there's no logic that you can run after armed people when you are not armed. Saying that if people said they ran after the intruders, there's no logic behind that, because the intruders had a firearm. They were armed. How do you run after armed people when you are not armed? So the same question is now phrased to say, wait a minute, how did Longa manage to do it then? Can you please explain that? His answer is, I don't know how he did it. You know, I'm still looking for answers. Where is the logic now? Let's follow the logic. Remember the logic that he said we should apply in the beginning. He said that, how do you run after a person who is armed when you are not armed? So now Mshololo said, thank you very much. Let's take the same question. Let's follow the same logic now. And that logic is very reasonable, and it's a very realistic logic. Right there, Tumelo has shown good. His logic is at work. You know what I'm saying? But his logic is the very same logic that leading him to a downfall. One way or the other, prison is calling for his name and the name of the people who were in the house. Why I'm saying that was a confession. Taking that, and then Mshololo says, how did this guy look? Ulongwe did it. Right? That was the question. Then Mshololo push it even further and say, before you answer, following the same logic, tell me this. How did the people in the house follow the same logic that you are giving in this court? How did they fight or fought with people who are armed? Remember the first question. or the first answer given by Tumelo. Tumelo says, there is no logic that there was a person who fought with people who were armed. There is no logic in that. It's not what I say, it's what Tumelo said. Right there, then you take the same thing and then you say, how did Longo do it? Number one. Number two, how did you guys do it? Because you clearly telling us that there is no way that you are unarmed fighting with your hands a person that is armed. Right there, Tumelo told us that the story is not storing right there. The maths is not mathsing right there. Tumelo right there proved beyond reasonable doubt. Number one, he is an unreliable witness. That's number one. Number two, he proved beyond reasonable doubt that the story of Intruders has never been in existence. Number three, he proved that the people who were in the house had fabricated a story and they need to be sentenced not only for the matter of Senzo, but also for perjury. Perjury is when you are lying under oath. Tumelo thought he thought he was applying his intelligence. When advocate says, Tumelo, think before you answer. Even the judge thought that was an insult. Little did they knew that was advocate Mshololo saying, listen man, you are making a very big mistake here. You are answering question before thinking, and you are making it easier for us to chow you. And boy, we will show you the way to Damascus. We're gonna chow you. And wait a minute, he was finished. Boy, he was finished. Oh boy, he was finished. Done. From here, I'm gonna tell you this: the case is over. Just by listening to that answer, Tumelo had just finished the case for us. Tumelo confessed there were no intruder in the house. But then when he realized that, I've just made a mistake. Then he's seeking ways of recovering from that. And then he says, I don't know how long it did it and all the stuff.
The ineptitude and the lack of preparation by the alleged suspects. I'm led to believe that we are dealing with one of Mzansi's dumbest criminals.
So, what we then learned from how Tumelo answered that question, Tumelo laid a bed for him to sleep on when he realized that actually you can only sleep in this bed if you are wearing the orange uniform. And I have no interest in wearing the orange uniform, but how am I gonna get out of this? And that was there and there, that was the incrimination. Not only now have you proven that you are unreliable, but also you have proven that you've been telling lies. And also there's now more evidence that even when you listen to him from what he had said in the past, let me prove this to you. This is not according to me, this is according to the law expert. He said, it is a common thing, even lawyers knows, and the judges and everybody knows, that you cannot remember the actual details of a thing that might have happened 10 years ago, 8 years ago. But you are expected at least to be consistent in terms of the content thereon. That you are expected, it is an expectation. What if you have told a story of robberies that occurred and the person was shot and blah 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 in 2014? In 2018, when you are asked about that, you are expected to tell the same story. there might be a twist there and there, but the twist must not be something that is very crucial in terms of the story that you are telling. Do you get the point? With that being said, Tumelo gets there and tell us a story that is very crucial in terms of the story that we are being told by the Kumalos, you know what I'm saying, and the people who are in the house. Remember, the story is that there was a robbery that was the robbery that went wrong, a robbery gone wrong. Yes. So if we're following that, and we are told that it was intruders, right? So since then, the story is about intruders that got into the house who were armed. And if the story is about that and you're following that logic, then no problem. But Tumelo then dismisses that. Sorry, before we go into Tumelo, the public figures and the Kumalo tells a story of superhero human beings that fights with people who have guns, right? And Longwood paint a story of him being a superhero, a man that is able to outsmart two, not one, two. Let me repeat, two armed people, not one, two. Guys, let me repeat, two, not one, two people that are armed, but they looking at you, escaping. You could have easily compromised. They're just looking at you and they don't care about you. They're not even following you. No, they don't care. So the storyline here has been about the intruders, the dumbest intruders ever in the history of South Africa, the dumbest intruders ever, who cannot fight, doesn't shoot the people that they are fighting with. To see. So you're following that logic, and Mthokozisi dismisses the logic firstly by saying these neighbors who think that they ran after people who were armed, there's no logic in that. Therefore, is there any logic in that they fought with people who were armed in the house? And the moment he saw that, he saw, boy, I've just incriminated myself and everybody. And where, if ever, and I'm definitely sure they were listening, all of the people that were in the house, after hearing that, if they had received legal opinion, they already know the consequences of that statement. No wonder Kelly Kumalo's lawyer resigned from this, and they're like, I'm not going to continue with this. Because she has seen that we may try to defend her, but boy, oh boy, this lady is just going deep. She's getting deeper. And if she would not be arrested for Senzo Meyiwa's case, murdering Senzo Meyiwa, she will be arrested for the other crimes. One way or the other, she must be arrested. Stealing Senzo Meyiwa's phone, stealing the disease's car, using the disease ID, all of those are a crime, because the law expert says if there is person A and person B, yeah, well, you see what I'm saying? And these two people are together, and the crime is happening in that place where person B is shot and person A is now a witness as to what happened here. Person A has got no juristic right to take any belonging that belongs to person B, because every belonging that belongs to person B is now an evidence, and every belonging that was at the crime scene is now an evidence. So you can't use even his watch. You can't use it, because that watch is now look, it's now an evidence. If you don't believe what I'm saying, let me prove this to you. The judge said something quite interesting when the judge said the following. I'm proving to you that anything that was found at the crime scene, it forms part and parcel of the evidence, right? Anything. But we saw Kelly Kumalo using things that I think it could be categorized as defeating the ends of justice. Judge Rata Mokhotleng says the following. The other thing that competent police would have taken all of your clothes because this firearm exploded in a confined space. Common sense tells me that they won't even take all of your clothes, and they then conducted all some test on them. They didn't do that. Dude, look, did they? And Tumelo Madlala says no, they didn't. In other words, the judge actually is saying, and look, it's actually confirming what I've just told you now. Guti, anything that belongs to the deceased it's considered now an exhibit. It belongs to the state. It belongs to the police until such a time where the police have satisfied themselves with anything that was found in that crime scene. Then they can declare it safe to use. That's when you can use it. But we saw Miss Kelly Khumalo. That's why I'm saying Miss Kelly Khumalo will go down whether she likes that or not. Number one, she used a deceased car that was in the crime scene. Number two, it's the phone. Number three is the ID. Number four is the SIM swap. Number five, you remember that in the hospital, when Senzo was declared dead, she took the watch, the earrings, all of those things belongs to the state until such a time when the state had declared it safe to use. You have no right of using that because it forms part and parcel of evidence. But we saw Miss Kelly Khumalo using all of the things that belong to the Miss Kelly Khumalo and Mapiri. I believe they will be charged for a same crime, that is to defeat the ends of justice. Mapiri cleaned the crime scene. Kelly Khumalo took things that belongs to the crime scene and are of useful to the police. She took almost most of the things that belongs to the deceased because she is Kelly Khumalo. Sorry guys. And then you hear people saying we hate on them. No, we don't hate them. We're just weighing evidence. We're taking the evidence that has been presented before us here, and we are saying based on this evidence, after weighing evidence 1, 2, and 3, and 4, we found that there are a lot of loopholes. Like now we have just found Tumelo to have confessed. You know what I'm saying? But not only now have we found Tumelo to have confessed, but what Tumelo has been useful on as well is that he has been confirming. Now we've got two witnesses that have confirmed that in terms of the issue of the car, the bank had to even track Kelly Khumalo to repossess the car because she will not hand the deceased car back to the bank, the bank that wanted to repossess the car. Not only did Tumelo confirm that, even Ntokoziso confirmed that yes, the bank has got papers to prove that she used the deceased car and was not willing to submit the deceased car. That car which belongs to the crime scene. Police have said that do not use this car. This car must be used by the police. So I'm saying after submitting all of this, you can see that one way or the other, Lady K must be arrested. There is no way Lady K must survive this one. There's no way. There are a lot of counts that you are counting now to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is a violation of the South African Constitution. You do not. Let me give you this last example, guys. I've seen people being involved in an accident. I was involved in an accident too. When was it? Was it in 2020? 1 or 2? I think it's 1. I'm not sure. I think it's 2019. That was after that I got hijacked in 2020. Things have been happening. I was involved in an accident in I was driving on N3 towards Sandton. Then there's an off-ramp called Linksfield. And then I was driving on the fast lane, and then there was this car that went spinning like this and then hit me and then pushed me into this concrete. You know what I'm saying? I'm explaining something that forms part and parcel of the airlock or that becomes an exhibit there. So it was me, and then during the sketch, everybody saw that I was not the one who was wrong, because the car that hit the car that I was driving, it was spinning, so it hit me like this, you know what I'm saying, and then pushed me to the concrete. So it was clear even during the time when the police were drawing the sketch, and everybody, even the person that bumped me, so also acknowledged on the crime scene that no, actually this one was not at fault. Nevertheless, even the insurance, after doing the investigation, they told me that you are not at fault in this one. No problem. The point here is, after being in that accident, hey, my mic, what are you doing? Hey. When that accident happened, we paused right there when the incident, where the accident has happened. We waited for the police to come and do their work right there, because if I had to move my car and then the other person says, no, I don't know why he moved this car, because this car was here. You know what I'm saying? So we have already swapped things here, and it might be difficult for me to claim in your insurance. So we all waited in the position where this incident has happened, and mind you, this is freeway, so all other people had to be inconvenienced because of the accident that has just happened, until such a time where police came to the accident, and they were very quick, by the way, until such a time when they came and did their job very quick, and then they said, okay, now let's move the car now to the other side. You know what I'm saying? So we moved our cars to the other side, and then they allowed the traffic now to flow, to get a point. But until such a time, we were all waiting there. Everybody else had to be inconvenienced, and cars have to slow down. You know what I'm saying? Now only one lane was working out of 4 lanes. Only one lane now was working. You can imagine the traffic, but we were waiting for the police, because we can't move an exhibit from the crime scene. But the Kumalos decided that, what are you talking about? Crime's us. We're above the law. You know, I don't know whether they've got this. I don't know who told them, but the Kumalos said, as crime scene, we're gonna take anything that we want, and then what are you gonna do about it? You know what I'm saying? It's like they were showing us the middle finger and say, what are you gonna do about it? But I guess right now, we will wait for Mapiri. I'm just wondering what Mapiri will tell us. Maybe Mapiri will also give an evidence, something, you know what I'm saying? But now you must wait. Every witness that comes into a stand, listen to what they're going to say about Kelly Khumalo. They seem to try to protect her, but at the same time they throw her under the bus. They keep giving us more and more evidence that, hey, arrest this woman, you know what I'm saying, for this crime. It looks like everybody's confirming this thing. And hey, it's gonna be nice. I'm just waiting to see Longa Khumalo. What is he going to say? Is he not going to come and incriminate Kelly Khumalo further? I'm waiting for Mapiri. What is she going to say? By the way, Mapiri, she's listed as the person that must go down too. And I am saying, look, it's okay for her. You know, it's the right thing for Mapiri to be arrested. Because now, that has been confirmed that she tampered with the crime scene. So she too must go down, because she deserves to go down. She applied to wear the orange uniform. Now her turn will come to wear the orange uniform. Well, it's always sad to see old people going to prison. But again, lastly, I'm wondering as well, there's this woman that you need to pay attention to called Ma Khumalo. That is Kelly Khumalo's mother and Zandi Khumalo's mother, right? Remember, I'm just wondering if she's gonna come here herself and incriminate her daughter as well, or she's gonna choose to take a different path and lie, and we will find her lies too. Don't worry. Pay attention to her. We're building up to these things, you know what I'm saying? Nicely. We're building up nicely into this thing. Ma Khumalo was in the house when Zandi Khumalo left. Ma Khumalo saw the alcohol and the cans that disappeared on the crime scene. Ma Khumalo saw the intruders. Makumalo was with Kelly. Makumalo is the one that we were told, Guti, the nurses told her that Senzo Meiwa is no more. So you can see, sorry guys, Makumalo, she has a lot to tell us. There's more that we need from Makumalo. Like when I say there's more that we need from Makumalo, I mean it. There's more that we need from Makumalo. Makumalo saw a lot. So Makumalo, it's either she is coming to incriminate her daughter or lie, and then she must be arrested too for perjury. That is what I have for you today. Nevertheless, you and I will meet in the next video. But until then, please take care.
Metro FM, it's where you're at. It's 8 minutes past 4 o'clock. Welcome. It's The Drive with Mo Flavor and Masachaba Ndlovu. We welcome you to The Drive Longway. Thank you so much for responding to our invitation.
I'm actually saddened that my own people can do this to me, you know. I mean, it was a robbery gone wrong, you know. I was even the coward of the day because I actually ran out as those gunmen actually came in and requested phones and money from us. I was actually the first to stand up to try and protect everyone. I wanted to go get help, but it was later. Neighbors and everyone was sleeping. I didn't even have my phone because I left it at the house, so I couldn't call the cops. A fight broke loose inside because obviously Senzo was protecting Kelly because the guys were handling Kelly, and then that's when the guys actually released the gunshot, and then that's when the bullet killed Senzo.
So two guys come into the house, they're armed, you're not even carrying a knife or anything, or not even any weapon to defend yourself. You try to push one of them and run out of the house, and they're not even following you to check whether you're going there to your car to fetch a gun to come and shoot at them. Long way saying, but when Senzo was actually shot, I was not even inside the room, I ran out. It all happened when I was already out of the room. He was not in the house. How did he see that Senzo died trying to save Kelly?
Have you been interacting with the police? Have they called you?
Yes, we've been investigated by police. They took our phones. I went in for questioning and everything.
Which phones?
Our personal cell phones.
Oh, okay.
Yes, just
they hadn't taken them from you.
They took them from us, and then
The criminals, I mean.
No.
Okay.
They couldn't take my phone because I ran out.
ran
I had my
outside.
phone in my pocket, so they didn't take my phone. But it was later. Neighbors and everyone was sleeping. I didn't even have my phone because I left it at the house, so I couldn't call the cops. They couldn't take my phone because I ran out. I had my phone in my pocket, so they didn't take my phone.